What up, good people? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well out there. I just got back from the 2025 NAB show. You may remember me mentioning this in my 2024 recap video where I said I wanted to get out more, connect with other creators, go to more conferences, do more travel, and NAB was top of mind for me. But I went to my first show and it did not disappoint. NAB was amazing. It was a full-on spectacle. All the different camera brands were out there, all the different audio visual brands were out there showcasing their latest technology, their latest gear, and it was just amazing to see. But more importantly, other content creators were out there as well. So overall, it was a really great experience, and it was also my first time in Las Vegas, so that was cool too. But with all that said, y'all, I just want to get into what were some of the favorite things that I saw at NAB, also just some of my favorite experiences in NAB and Las Vegas at large, and just really just give you a quick little recap. Let's get into it. Now, for those of you who may not know, NAB stands for National Association of Broadcasters, and basically the show is an opportunity for companies to come together and showcase the latest in broadcasting and filmmaking technology, both hardware and software. And some of y'all may be wondering, Bray, aren't you a photography channel? Why are you going to a broadcasting and filmmaking show? Basically, it's because all the camera brands are there, and they're there showcasing the latest gear, both their hardware, cameras, lenses, audio visual equipment, and some of their softwares. Blackmagic was there showcasing DaVinci Resolve, Adobe was there presenting Premiere, and I think some AI tools with like Photoshop and things like that. And so it was just all really cool to see all that technology in one place and just document it. And speaking of documenting, the main camera that I used just to document all of NAB and my time in Las Vegas was the Fuji X-M5 here. I'm actually filming with it right now, as you may or may not be able to tell from this beautiful open gate aspect ratio. It was great for just documenting the show floor, going out on the strip and doing some low light street photography, video on that later, and really just capturing all of the events at NAB. I was a little hesitant at first just because the lack of IBIS in this camera, but this worked out pretty well. Yes, the footage was a little shaky, it was a little jittery. I'm not gonna act like it's the smoothest footage in the world, but it actually looked pretty good. But on the show floor, just using the X-M5 and just capturing a lot of really cool stuff. The X-M5 was really great. I actually did see it next to the Canon R50V and the Lumix S9, and it's still smaller and it still packs all of the nice capabilities inside of it. So I honestly think this was the perfect camera to bring along for NAB and document. In fact, the X-M5 is quickly becoming one of my favorite cameras. But getting into the overall show and just checking out all the exhibits, talking to some of the reps, looking at all the gear and seeing other content creators, you know, overall it was a full-on spectacle. They had things like movie sets in order for you to really test cameras and gear and see how it works. And I thought it was really cool that these brands really went all out in order to showcase their product. But as far as some of my favorite things that I saw at NAB, of course, you may have already guessed, top of mind for me was the Fuji booth. In fact, I probably went by the Fuji booth like 8 or 9 times throughout the whole show, and I just kept coming back. And the main thing that I kept coming back to was the Fuji GFX 100 RF, which is their new fixed lens medium format camera, basically a slightly larger X100 and it was just really interesting to play around with this camera, to play around with the dials, the aspect ratio dial, the crop zoom dial, really just see what the imaging can do. I am still a little worried about that f4 aperture. I worry that you don't really get the full effect of medium format, but to be seen, you know. Just looking at the GFX 100 RF next to the GFX 100 S2, you can see that it was so much smaller, and it was just amazing that they were able to do this with a medium format sensor camera. What do y'all think? Should I get one for the channel? I can't buy one, but maybe Fuji will send me one. Fuji, holla at your boy. But they also had the GFX Eterna on display, which is Fuji's cinema camera, and that was really cool to see and learn about. Talking with the rep, I learned that it has both built-in ND filters, electronic ND, and a built-in battery, which are things that should just, at this point, put it in all the cameras. But as far as other camera brands go, I will say my second favorite was the Blackmagic booth. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm in love with Blackmagic cameras. I always saw them, I always thought they looked a little bit chunky, but when I went to that booth and I saw the image quality coming out of their cameras, in my opinion, the quality of image is so much better than all the other camera brands that I've seen. And I'm not even talking about the higher end Pixis cameras, I'm talking about the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. I was looking at that image and I was like, that is beautiful. The colors look great. Also, as I mentioned before, they were demoing DaVinci Resolve 20. I am a DaVinci DaVinci Resolve editor, and so that is very interesting to me to just kind of see all the different features I would be getting, and I'm excited to be able to use it once it gets out of beta. I am not a beta user, but I also enjoyed seeing stuff from Nikon Red. They had a really nice booth going and all their technology was really cool. Canon had some really cool stuff going. Panasonic was cool. Sony had a large booth and they were showcasing all of their gear as far as the Buranos. They had cameras like the A7R5, the FX3s, the A7S3, A7C2, had both photography and cinema lenses, and they had some really interesting camera rigs. They had this one rig where it was essentially 3 FX3s on a single rig. Come to find out, after talking to the rep, there was a studio that actually used a rig like that to connect 100 FX3s. Can you imagine 100 FX3s? But yeah, Sony had an amazing booth. As far as other brands go, you had the lens companies. You had Dizio, you had 7 Artisans, you had Nisi, you had Cook was out there, Atlas was out there, and Blazar was out there. Now Blazar is kind of interesting because they had this one little lens called the Beetle, which is an anamorphic lens for Sony E mount and for Fuji X mount, among other mounts. Looking at it, it was really tiny, really small. I might try to get one of those and just kind of play around with the anamorphic look. There were also other smaller companies out there, like Zhiyun was there, DJI was there, Nomadic, Shimoda, the bag brands were there, PGY Tech, B&H was there, and they had a pretty baller booth where they had some sets going in order to showcase all of the gear. It was just so much to see. But outside of the NAB show itself, my favorite part of this whole experience was both seeing and connecting with other creators that I follow. Everyone was there, y'all. You know, I saw Terry Warfield, I saw Maddie and Teppo Opoya, I saw the guys from Petapixels. They were filming the Petapixel podcast. Jarrell and Brandon Washington were filming the Uncensored podcast. I caught that. It's just so many other creators there, and I just thought that was really cool to see them there. I didn't walk up to anybody, you know, I was a little shy about it. They were trying to create content, so I didn't want to get in the way of that, but it was just really interesting to see them there, see how they create content. I'm the type of person where I learn by seeing, so if I see someone do something, I can pretty much pick it up. Just seeing their process, seeing how they create, you know, I think I picked up some things there. The guys from the Uncensored podcast, they actually had a meetup for content creators at In-N-Out, and there was a lot of content creators there. I was able to have conversations with them, get to know them, and you know, really just connect and have a good time. That was really amazing. I really enjoyed that. That is the type of experience, in my opinion, that is just invaluable. But with that said, y'all, you know, that's my thoughts on my first NAB. It was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to try to go back next year, maybe even some additional conferences like WPPI or Photo Plus, some more of the photo-centric type of conferences and shows. And yeah, it was just a really good experience. But with that said, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. If you like this video, go ahead and drop it a like. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the notification bell to stay informed on future content. And until next time, y'all, I will catch y'all later.